Hey, you guys. I get asked all the time about bread. Do I feed it to my children? Do I feed it to my family? Do I bake it? What is the answer? And so I'm going to try and provide an answer, but I don't think it is the answer because you kind of have to take into account your own health history. Do you have autoimmune issues, other allergy issues, and so on and so forth? So, I will, for my family, buy a loaf of bread every 2 to 3 weeks, and my kids will eat a lot of it. And here's why. Specifically with gut biome, if you don't use it, you lose it. And your gut biome is nurtured by the food that you eat, and it proliferates according to your food profile. So the more veggies you eat, the more healthy bacteria you nurture and grow. The more sugar you eat, the more bad bacteria and bad yeast and bad fungus grows. My dog just saw a squirrel, so that's why you're hearing Abby get all excited. Where was I? Okay, so if your children or if you don't eat a food, let's say for years, and then like let's say Satori, I refuse to let her have bread for 2 years, and then she goes to a friend's house and she eats some bread, she could have an autoimmune reaction, like an allergy to it, because her digestive tract, her gut biome, her body is not used to that molecule. And so when she ingests it, it creates a histamine response and can cause all kinds of issues. So when you keep introducing that food to their body won't react to it negatively. Now, this isn't true in all cases. It's just true in most of them. If you have a heightened immune response to a lot of foods, your case is very different. Make sure you talk to a health practitioner about that. But the same goes with dairy. I make sure my kids, I buy about 2 gallons of raw milk every month. So 1 gallon every other week. Because I don't want them to create an allergy to dairy. So it's kind of like microdosing them with something, keeping that gut bacteria that normally deals with metabolizing that bread and that dairy. You kind of just want to keep it active so that they don't create an immune response years down the line. Now, why do I not encourage eating bread a lot, and especially in our family? So bread isn't very nutrient dense. And for the majority of people that are trying to heal from autoimmune issues, thyroid issues, they need healing foods. I consider grain a power food. So if you are trying to heal your body and train for a marathon, then maybe power foods are good for you. But the majority of people that are following me, they're trying to heal something in their body. So I try to push 8 to 12 servings of vegetables a day to help provide their body with the nutrients and the medicine, the plant medicine, not like the marijuana plant medicine, like the vegetable plant medicine, to allow your body to heal. So we're giving the body the micronutrients to help it thrive and heal itself and be and kind of put out the fires that are being caused in your body. So when it comes to a grain that isn't high in nutrients, but it's high in power foods like glucose, then for athletes, bread absolutely makes sense. Now, a lot of people are listening to this right now. They're like, well, I can't live without bread. I get really tired. I get headaches. And I totally get that. That is what your gut biome, that is what your body has been, what's the word I'm looking for? It's been taught to do. That's what it's used to doing. So when you completely change up your nutrition, when you start cutting out foods, you might suffer from something like headaches or migraines or fatigue because your body isn't used to utilizing vegetables for energy. It's only used to utilizing grains and carby foods for energy. So your body kind of has to go through a little bit of a transition when you are cutting down your grains and increasing your veggie intake. One last thing that's really interesting, and I'm sure most of you have heard of this, but people who have like celiacs or gluten sensitivities in America, when they actually go to European countries, a lot of the time they can eat the pastas and the breads and not have any bowel flare-ups at all. Now, why is that? Well, there are many, many countries that actually consider our grain and our wheat to be a toxic substance. Why? Because of all the farming practices that we that our government allows in this country. So like I think I mentioned before, the glyphosate, they use glyphosate as a desiccant right before harvesting the wheat. And that glyphosate is extremely, extremely reactive in our bodies. Our bodies don't recognize them. It causes all kinds of autoimmune issues and wreaks havoc on our GI tract. But then they don't have that issue in Europe. They don't spray, and I'm sure in most countries or some countries, they don't spray it with glyphosate or the same herbicides and pesticides that we do here in America. And then to answer one of the most common questions asked of me with bread, do I bake my own bread? No, and it's not because I don't hate bread. I actually love bread. I just don't have time. I mean, keeping sourdough starter alive is like having a third child, and I can't do it because I'm the kind of person that kills succulents. So I'm just trying to keep my children alive. If you love to bake, continue to bake. Get a good sourdough starter, get really good grain, really good wheat. Make sure it is bioidentical. Make sure if you can get bioidentical and organic, that would be amazing. But get to know your farmers, your wheat farmers. Get to know their farming practices because it really does make a difference. So my bread lovers out there, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. You guys, my last video didn't finish recording because my phone died. But if you like to make bread, just try to view bread not as a staple, but kind of more like a dessert, a side. Make sure it is not taking up space where vegetables can be taking up, because if you need to prioritize healing and repairing, then you need to prioritize vegetables. You need to prioritize fats and proteins, and less of the power foods like breads. So there you go. I hope that was enlightening for some of you guys and that you learned something new today.